Hi everyone. So about a year ago I made a video about my studio and the build process and everything, so I thought I'd do another one today as a bit of an update, what's changed in the last year, and just to show you around some of the new things. So originally down the far end of the room here we had sort of a more chill out end, which is still the case. We've got the sofa there, guitars on the wall, but eventually I did manage to take over the whole room, and I've now got my computer up this end. This is the business end where I do all the mixing and sort of editing, stuff like that. Not much has changed with the computer setup really, still got the same monitor speakers, same computer there, although it has got a sticker on it now. But I did put this TV screen above, which works well with Ableton. It lets me have both arrangement view and session view on the screen at the same time, on two screens. And you can see I did go a bit mad with the panels. I think I had a bit of a foam panel buying addiction at one stage. I did it on the door as well. But it definitely works to keep the room sounding very dry. So yeah, moving over here, you can see it basically goes all the way around the back of the drum kit now. One of the main challenges I had was to get the interfaces connected up, going from one end of the room to the other. So from the back of the computer here, the cable, I've got a long USB 3 cable that actually goes through all this trunking, all the way around the door, down across the bottom here, and eventually lands up with the audio interfaces. If you saw the last video, they were just sort of loose on the floor, but I got this nice little flight case that keeps them together. And then from there, the back of the interface, it is complete spaghetti down there. But all the XLR cables running to the mics go down through some more trunking, get to the drum stool, and you can see them just going on the floor there across to the bottom of the drum kit, and then up to all the individual mics. So it does feel quite nice and tidy. All the cables are out the way, which is good. When I'm doing some recording from here, I'm obviously sat at the drum kit, and I've got my laptop here, which using the Chrome remote desktop thing, which is brilliant, lets me just control my desktop computer over there. So that's the main powerhouse over there that does all the editing, but this is just a little remote controller for it. So it means I basically don't have to go to and fro from the drum kit the whole time. I can do it all from here. The other thing that's handy down here, we've got Ethernet sockets, so this laptop is nothing's using wireless basically, it's all wired in, so it gives me a very smooth connection. And I've also got my camera mounted on the wall up here. This is really useful when I'm doing online lessons. Just keep it sat there, and then it gives pupils a good view of the drum kit and what I'm doing. The other thing that's really handy over here is this little belt pack that I just fixed on the wall. It means I can just plug in my in-ear monitors straight here. So they're just behind the drum stool, very easy to find. So I'm not scrabbling around on the floor, anything like that. Sadly, one of the things that did have to go was the big piano that I used to have sat here. It was just too big, taking up too much space. So in the end, I'll spin around here. I just settled for a smaller MIDI keyboard, but this one does the job, and it's got these little buttons here. Works very nicely with Ableton, so it was a pretty good replacement really. Doesn't feel quite like a real piano, but hey. In the last video I showed you a few of these panels that I made, just simple MDF frame full of rock wool. They're still as they were pretty much, the only difference being I've made an extra one over this side. I made this one over here in the middle a little bit bigger, and the thing that made the most difference actually to the sound in here is I stuck a couple up on the ceiling as well, and that just really made everything sound very dry, which is great. Works well in here. It was a bit of a mission to get them up there, but it's done. I'm not taking them down again. As well as the ceiling panels, the other new thing that I added was these bass traps in the corners. I did have these ones in before, the ones that run right to the ceiling, but I've got these ones that match the panels, just made of foam to take out a little bit of the bass. And then I put a little shelf on top with a plant. So there we go. Like to have a bit of nature in here. Got one on the other side as well. And moving on to what is possibly my favourite feature of the room is this LED light strip that runs around the edge. Simple but effective. It looks really nice in the videos. And it came with this remote control here. The sensor for it is just in the trunking somewhere there. So if I want a different colour, just have to point to that. There's red. There we go. So originally I had my drum kit over sort of facing this wall where those foam panels are. Bass drum was butted up very close to the wall. So taking advice from a few people, suggested the best way really is to have the kit facing into the room. Gives the bass drum a bit more space to breathe. But the other advantage is that it's allowed me to sort of have a room mic opposite the kit. So if I spin around just above the window here, you can see I've got a condenser mic mounted on the wall up there. So that just picks up the sound of the room. And it actually adds quite a nice little touch to the sound. Moving on to the gear, the other thing that's changed mainly from the last video is actually the microphones I'm using. So since starting out, I bought myself a pack of SE mics, the Club Pack I think it's called, which comes with these V-Beat mics that clip onto the toms. They sound really good actually. I was impressed. I wasn't sure whether to go with clip-ons because a lot of people prefer the stand-mounted ones, but actually I'm really happy with the sound from them. I was using some SE 1As, which I'm now using as the overheads here for the toms, but they tended to distort a little bit because they didn't have pads in. So these mics are dynamic, so they just tend to work better for the stuff I'm doing here. The other mic that comes in that pack is the V-Kick down here, which gives a great sound, and it's got a few different presets you might be able to see on the back there. You can actually change the sort of bias of the EQ from the mic, which is handy. And of course this drum skin, which was a present from my wife for my birthday. It's pretty awesome. And the other new purchase that I made, something I should have done a long time ago actually. This snare drum is a new one. It's an absolute beast. It's a Ludwig Acrolite. It sounds fantastic in every tuning pretty much, and I'm just using it all the time now as my main snare. I've also got this snare weight on it, which again I'm quite new to these, but just gives you a bit of dampening. You can either have it off, dampening the drum fully, or fold it in half like that. I'm not going to go too much into mic placement and everything now. I'm going to actually do a separate series on things that I've learned over the first year of sort of running the studio in terms of mic placement and sound and everything. So I think that about wraps up all the new things. Over the past year I've been really fortunate. I've had some great projects to work on. I've done a whole prog album in here without a single complaint from any of the neighbours out there. So the soundproofing is working very, very well. So if you're looking for a drum kit or percussion recordings for any projects or tracks that you're working on, please do get in touch. I'm very much enjoying recording things here at the moment, so would love to be involved with some more recording projects. Yeah, thanks for watching.